When you're caring for your own baby, you know exactly what you're doing and you know what you're comfortable with, but it's not always the case that you are with your own child all of the time. So Marta Pirzadeh is back with us from the NC Healthy Start Foundation.
Hi, Paige.
Thank you for coming back.
Thank you again.
So what do we do? Let's talk about first when we are in our own home, but someone else is caring for our child. What are some good things to keep in mind to remind them of?
Well, one of the things I want to make sure I point out to you is big stuffed animals like this in the baby sleep environment. You know and I know, grandparents come to visit, they bring presents all the time. And this stuffed animal, anything in the baby's crib, is a suffocation hazard. So we want to take those out of the crib. This is a safe crib for a baby, whether it's in your home or someone else's home.
So we know what a safe crib looks like, and we can tell them, this is how I prefer the crib to be. But we all know, you know, we've got, especially with grandmothers, mothers-in-law, mothers, whoever the case may be, it's difficult sometimes to say, you know what, I know you did it one way, but this is how we do it. How do you kind of broach that?
I think that is one of the hardest things for new moms to do, is to tell their mom or their mother-in-law that they've learned something new, different from what was done in the past. And I think what the most important thing to do is to talk to parents and grandparents about, there is new research. We are learning new things all the time about parenting, about SIDS, about taking care of your baby. Talking to them about that, maybe showing them an article in one of your parenting magazines, talking to them that it's changed in 25, 30 years. What you did isn't the standard anymore. I think that's the best way to do it.
You know, one of the biggest things that has changed, you were telling me before the show, smoking.
Right.
You know, years ago, people didn't even know that you couldn't smoke when you were pregnant, let alone around a baby. That's a generational thing, but also just for whomever, it really is important to not even smoke anywhere near a baby.
That's right.
And to tell your caregivers that.
That's right, and that is a huge risk factor for SIDS. Smoking can more than double the risk of SIDS, whether parents are exposing their newborn baby to smoke, or even pregnant women who smoke or are exposed to a lot of smoke can increase the risk of SIDS after the baby is born. So it is really important that parents talk to their friends, family, anybody who might be around the baby when they're sleeping or when they're awake about not smoking in their space.
Which, you know, I think sounds perfectly reasonable. I'm sure you do too. If someone's in your own home, I'm sure it comes across as one way. Now, what about when we're in somebody else's home? For the smoking, we can still certainly address that and ask them not to do that around our child. But not everybody has a crib in their house.
Sure.
So what do we do when we take our child to someone else's house or even to a daycare facility that's got something different from the crib that they're used to at their own house?
Sure. Well, I will say that the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends for babies to sleep in a safe but separate location from their parents. Generally, we think about cribs, but the AAP actually does talk about pack-and-plays as being a recommended sleep space as well as bassinets for newborn babies. So if you have a pack-and-play and you can bring it over to someone's house, or say they're sleeping over at grandparents' house on a regular basis, pack-and-plays are not that expensive. It's such a safer place than parents or grandparents who try to set them up on a couch or set them up in a king-size bed. There's just so many risk factors with soft cushions, blankets, things like that, if they're not in a space that was made for baby sleeping.
BYO pack and play.
That's right.
Okay. Well, Marta, you always get lots of good Facebook comments. I got a ton from friends last time who said, you know, I did this or I didn't do that. Ask her that. So we want to hear more comments and more questions if you have any for Marta. Thank you for coming back, and we'll look forward to talking to you again.
Yep. Thank you.